Hello and welcome. I usually say to JK+1 when I do that because Pete's line and I make fun of him. So I'll do the same thing here. Hello and welcome. PTF is gallivanting around with coat and tails on at Royal Ascot and the car park, having a great time. I am Jonathan Kinchen, and we're going to talk a little bit about Monmouth. I want to thank our friends at Monmouth for sponsoring this video. Hopefully you got to take advantage of the Pick Your Prize contest. I did not. I was not able to defend my title from last year, but that's all right. Coming up next, I know Monmouth has a lot of good stuff. Obviously, the Haskell's coming up. There is the Haskell Handicapping Challenge, $1,000 Haskell Handicapping Challenge. Will be held online on Saturday, July 18th. TVG, 4NJ Bets, HPI, Twin Spires, Express Bet, are the places that you can get involved with that. So make sure you check that out. Brian Skirka does an outstanding job with these contests, and a great day of racing, great quality racing as well. We always like to see that in contests. As for Saturday, June 20th, take a break from some World Cup. There's no NBA Finals anymore, so why not get involved in the Pick 5 at Monmouth? Let's go. Race 4. There's a Pick 5. They get started there. Pretty straightforward here. I don't have a lot to offer. I'm going to use two horses, the 3 Chuck Willis and the 5 Crypto Man. Now, theoretically, from a game theory standpoint, this might be an opportunity or a spot in which I wouldn't even play the Pick 5. I would play the Pick 4. I think if you don't love what you're doing in the first leg of a Pick 5, you don't find an edge there, you're not doing something to pick up equity, you're just trying to survive, then maybe the Pick 5 pool is not for you on that day. But I still wanted to give you the 3 and the 5 as the horses that I would start with. But me personally, I would likely just tackle the Pick 4 because using the top 2 choices in the first leg of the Pick 5, I'm not really sure what equity you're picking up there. As far as race 5 is concerned, the second leg, 5.5 turf sprint. I'm going to use quite a few in here. I get a little bit skinnier along the way. 1, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I'm going to spread in here. I do think this one's a little bit more wide open. Obviously, I'm using quite a bit in here. When it comes to turf sprints, I'm always looking for horses that have early speed. And I think when you start towards the outside, you'll see a horse in Blue Moon Tide, the 10, who has some races with speed. He hasn't been great. He hasn't run on the turf, but he has an okay race on the synthetic. You've got the 9 Air Mask, another one who the last race didn't show a lot of early speed, has speed outside of that. Lydia Rose, this was more of a play back to the fact that this horse debuted turf sprinting and won. Now, that was at a 2-year-old, so the figure is going to always be a little bit light. But then the horse ran a lifetime best figure last time on the dirt, so maybe the horse has improved, grown up a little bit, and now getting back turf sprinting, where this is the only time the horse has ever won, is exactly what this horse wants. Lydia Rose, 8-1 morning line. That would be my top pick in here, the 8 Lydia Rose. The rest of them I'm just using defensively as coverage in here, and in a race like this, keep it as wide open as possible. Those numbers again, 1, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9, and 10. On to the third leg, race 6. I'm going to single here. I'll single the 6 Just Relax. The horse ran extremely well last time. And if you look at the races prior to that where he won, I actually thought his last race running second was better. The races prior to that, I thought he ran well. I just think he's better than these. He's outside of his main competition, which I love to see, especially in dirt sprints when you can see the horses to your inside and be able to put the pressure on them. You could be the hunter, not the hunted. I think the horses to the inside end up being the hunted. I will use the 3 and the 5 defensively as B types. And if for a budget standpoint, if your ticket gets a little expensive when you add those 2 as Bs, I'd have no problem going to war in this race with just the 6 Just Relax. And I dare you to tell your significant other when they're upset to just relax. See how that goes for you. I have tried it before. It does not work well. I will not be trying it again. I'm going to single in race 7, mile and a 16th on the turf. There is some horses that aren't great in here, is the nice way that I'll say it. And they show up in various formats. You see the horse down to the inside, Charlie Hustle getting to the grass for the first time. A little bit interesting, maybe one you could use as a B type defensively. But for me, this feels like Jet Off's race to win. Jet Off has been competitive in maiden special weight races. Didn't run particularly well in his last 2 starts when he was bet, which is a little bit discouraging. but I would like to say that he has now kind of found the absolute bottom. And I think so much about these maiden races and these habitual losing types in maiden races is the one thing that can solve that problem is getting them into a group with horses that they're better than. And suddenly that seconditis, thirditis, fourthitis, fifthitis turns into a win. I saw it. What's today? Today's Friday. I saw it Thursday at Aqueduct. The horse that ran off the screen at 1-5, who'd been an 0 for 7 type. It's you just have to find your friends. I think Jedoff has found his friends here in race 7. I'll single that one because if I don't single there, I have to spread like crazy. But I'll let that be the anchor in a race where I'm sure other people will find other horses that they want to use. And then to wrap it up in race 8, 2, 3, 4. This is a cutback situation for me. The 2, La Vecchia Signora. Don't tell my Italian wife that I butchered that. This, I thought the horse ran well enough last time. It's been running going a little bit longer and is now cutting back. The horse I think is going to be very hard to beat in here is the 3, Charlie's Beauty. Charlie's Beauty just did what I think the 2 could do this time, which is Charlie's Beauty went long and then cut back and won. Ran well, ran one of the best races, ran second that day, just missed. So for me, I'm just hoping that the 2 appreciates the cutback. The 3 already has appreciated the cutback. I want to make sure I have that one. And then it's hard to argue with a horse like the 4. The sequence to me, the value you pick up is the double single in the middle, right? Singling Just Relax and singling the 9 Jedoff. I know those horses are short prices, but if you can pick up some equity in a spot like those 2 races, not using other horses, you could find yourself in a pretty good multiple pretty quickly, especially if the turf sprint materializes and you get something other than one of the favorites. So the Lydia Rose play in the turf sprint, the 8, trying to get that one involved, hoping to maybe get a 5-1 shot otherwise, not let the favorite to get me there. And then the double single followed by kind of locking up that last race to make sure that I'm alive in there. I will encourage you, if your budget's a little bit limited, one of my favorite things to do is in that last race, don't use all 3. Use 1 or 2 of them. And then if you get to a position where you are alive for something that matters, whatever matters to you on the day, if you're alive for something that matters, then you can protect yourself with that extra horse. Because so often what will happen is you get alive to 3 horses, but it didn't go the way you wanted to go before. And you end up in a position where it's not really worth the extra money that you spent at that defense in the last race because it's coming back so short. I almost like to get to a position where I've gotten myself to a position where the payout is worth protecting with the backup type horse. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, holler at me on Twitter. I want to thank our friends at Monmouth Park, Brian Skirko, the rest of the team. Make sure you get down there. One of my favorite things to do if you're ever in the city is obviously New York City's a sensational place. Hang out in the city and then catch the C Streak. The C Streak ferry takes about, I don't know, I think it's an hour. I could be lying about that. Down to the Jersey Shore, a quick little Uber ride. Next thing you know, you are at Monmouth Park, enjoying Monmouth Park and everything it has to offer. Then you can get back to the city and see a show or catch a dinner or, a Yankees game, Mets game, whatever you need to do. Good luck. We'll see you next week.